Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for this Solution Challenge webinar. First off, I just wanted to say that I hope all of you and your loved ones are doing well right now, wherever you are in the world. And we're really happy to welcome you to this group. And we're going to be talking about the Solution Challenge. I'm going to be having some awesome teammates from around the world joining me, so you'll be meeting them in just a moment. But first, I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Rika, and I'm on the Google Developer Relations team, and I'll be your host today. I'm based in New York, here in my apartment, and I'll share a bit more about me. I lead the Developer Student Clubs program globally. I've really been inspired by all the awesome developers and startups that I've met over the last 13 and a half years that I've been working at Google, especially when I was based in Southeast Asia, which is where I first started working with communities and developers. I was specifically focused on developers in Indonesia and really just helping them be more successful as developers. And I was really inspired by those developers that I met who were really interested in building their skills as developers, and then who took that next step of putting those skills into action by building a solution to solve a local problem around them. I truly believe that tech can do incredible things around the world, and that's what brings us here together today. That's really why we're here. We're talking about the Solution Challenge, and I have some teammates who are going to be joining me in a minute to answer some questions and share a bit more about the Solution Challenge in their regions. But in case you're not familiar, I'll share a bit more about the Solution Challenge. So it's an annual contest presented by the Developer Student Clubs program that invites students to develop solutions for local problems using one or more Google product or platform. The deadline for the submission is April 30th. Yes, that is 1 week from today. So there is still time to start and finish your projects. It is not too late. I know some people tend to get excited by deadlines and do things at the last minute. I am very familiar with that. I've done that myself. So it really is not too late, and that is why we're here. We want to help you go through the finish line, finish your projects, and get those submitted by April 30th. And we might also have some people on this call who don't know much about the Developer Student Clubs program, so I can share briefly just a bit about that too. So Developer Student Clubs are university-based community groups for students who are interested in Google developer technologies. So this is really for students in undergraduate or graduate programs, and who are interested in growing as developers, and also they are interested in peer-to-peer learning. So this is really a peer-to-peer learning environment where they can come together to learn through workshops and also build solutions for local businesses and their communities as another way to solidify learning. We're really interested in bridging that gap between theory and practice. There are over 800 clubs all over the world right now in about 69 countries. So it's truly global. So speaking of around the world, I'd love to introduce some of my teammates who are here, and they're really from all over the world. These are they're community managers who manage the Developer Student Clubs in their regions. And also Komal is my teammate, and she sits with me in the New York Google office. She works on the program globally. And I'm going to be asking them different questions about the Solution Challenge, about Developer Student Clubs, and then we're going to be taking questions from the chat as well. So please do ask any questions. We'll be checking the live comments. So far, I see people are saying hello, so thank you so much. We see some teammates as well. Our teammate, Eddie, hi, happy to have you here. Akil, oh, Samuel's here, awesome. So thank you, it's really good to see all of you in here, and I'm really excited to start the discussion. So feel free to add any questions that you have along the way. Awesome, so let's bring in some of our teammates. Excited to have other people join the space. So first off, I would love to introduce Komal. Hi, Komal, welcome.
Hello, thanks so much for having me. Hi, Rika, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Yeah, where are you right now? And also, please introduce yourself to the group who might not know you yet.
Yes, definitely. So my name is Komal Sanu. I'm a global program manager within Google Developers, and I work on the Developer Student Clubs program with Erica. I'm usually based out of New York City. With everything that's going on in the world, I have escaped and I'm now in Pennsylvania at my boyfriend's family's home, actually in his childhood bedroom. So bear with me on the background, but I'm so excited to be here and share a little bit about our experiences with Developer Student Clubs and the Solution Challenge. So thank you for having me.
So happy to have you here. And it's been so great working with you on this program the last 2 years, and you've really been driving the Solution Challenge. And I'd just love to hear what makes the Solution Challenge unique to other developer competitions that might be out there.
Yeah, it's a great question, right? This is, I think it's a very special project. It's a really great effort. And the reason why it came about was because we had all these students that were part of the Developer Student Clubs program, which the vision of the program is to bridge the gap between theory and practical application for student developers, right? Because there's an opportunity with people in university pursuing degrees in CS that are graduating and maybe not being able to find jobs. And so the feedback we received is, hey, like maybe my curriculum isn't giving me everything I need. I don't know if I necessarily have all the tools to really be industry ready. So when I get a job after, or maybe want to get a job, I don't feel as prepared. And so that's why Developer Student Clubs existed. And then when we collected feedback from the people in Developer Student Clubs, they were like, great, but actually bridging that gap between theory and practice requires hands-on experience. And so that's what gave birth to the Solution Challenge. And so I think it's important to understand the why behind it. In regards to what makes it unique, I think there's a lot of contests out there, developer contests out there globally that kind of connect. They talk about problems and bringing developers together to solve problems. But the truth is a lot of them are top down, right? So they're identifying a very specific problem and saying, hey, let's get all these developers to come solve for this using technology. Or the UN has identified different pillars of themes, right, of issues that are being faced globally. And so they say, hey, solve within these pillars. One thing that makes the Solution Challenge really unique is the truth is no one knows what's going on in your community better than you, right? And when we say community, we mean the people around you, your university, in that immediate local community, understanding what's working, what's not working. And the platform of Solution Challenge encourages students to take a step back and say, what's going on around me? Let's start talking to people, right? Identify what are the areas of friction, what are the challenges around them, and then use technology and the knowledge that they have grown through a developer student club, right? And take that knowledge and convert it into skills by actually building a solution for that local problem. I think that is one thing that's really unique to this is we are not dictating what problems exist in the world. We're actually seeking to understand what is happening in our communities through the voices of our students.
That's a great point. And when we were both in India together, we went to a few universities, and it was really cool to watch. Some of the students took us to a local juice shop, and they said, hey, we asked the shop owner, like, is there, what are some challenges you face in the day? Talk us through your day. What are some kind of things that take a lot of time? And so they found that it took him time to add up the totals every day of what students are buying. And eventually they helped him build an app to add up those totals for the day. So he was just surprised that the students asked him, like, hey, what are some of the challenges? And and they basically collaborated from there on building a solution for him. And that process was cool for the students as well. They were able to put into practice some of the things they learned, get user feedback, and just think about beyond just the classroom. Are there people around them that might have certain things that they can support them with through technology? So that's so true. Just kind of looking around you, not just the people around you, just asking them, what are there some things that we can solve for together? So that was a really cool experience, and that reminded me of what you just shared.
Definitely. And I think it's really inspiring to oftentimes, right, when we see certain developers like building solutions, the one thing that you forget is to actually go out and talk to someone, right? The actual behavior of having a conversation with someone and asking them open-ended questions to say, hey, what do you do? right? What works, what doesn't, the most challenging day that you're having at your job, or what is it? What is causing that friction, right? To really dig in and understand that problem. And so problem identification is a huge component of the solution challenge, right? Taking your time to really identify a problem, then start focusing on the solution, right? And the way you do that is by connecting with the people around you. And so the behaviors that we're looking for and validating in our challenge is that you not only just generated an idea and built a solution for it, but you actually got from that problem to solution by connecting with users, by understanding what the problem is, deep diving, coming up with a solution, validating it, and then employing technology to solve that. So I hope that answered your question. It's definitely something that I'm really excited about and thrilled to see what our students submit. So yeah.
Great, thank you. Thanks so much. And stand by, we're gonna bring you back in very soon, and I'm gonna welcome in Marva. So we were just speaking about problems and how students can figure out what are some challenges that I can solve, looking around in their community. And I'd love to bring in Marva to introduce herself and then share more about what are some of the most popular problems that identified for finding a solution for challenges in your region. What trends are you seeing from students that are sharing more about the projects they're working on? But first of all, hi Marva.
Hi.
You are.
Yeah, hi. This is Marva from Turkey, and I'm supporting the Turkey and Central Asia's Developer Student Clubs program. It's my, I think, 7th month here, and also the program is just started. So, and I'm super glad to be in here. Thanks a lot for inviting me or for your live stream. And actually, the most popular problems naturally focus on the pandemic that we face these days. When I take a look at the submissions from Turkey and also Central Asia, generally, common topics are education, social connections, and of course, health, and especially mental health, we can say.
That's okay. That's good. That's good to hear. And our if you could share, are there any projects that you've been seeing? So it's some mental health, which is super important during this time, and we sometimes forget about that. Health as well. Are there any projects you've seen that have inspired you, or a project you can share a bit more about?
Yeah, actually, nowadays, of course, because of the coronavirus, people are generally focusing on how to solve this problem, or maybe vaccines or these kinds of things. But also because of everything is locked down, maybe we should also focus on how to connect each other and also how to discuss our problems. And also maybe we can say the online events are super trending here. Because people want to feel connected. So they are building some kind of solutions for this problem. They want to feel connected and they want to feel supported. So the projects are generally about chatting applications sometimes, which is a psychological helping, these kinds of chatting. And of course, how to solve the coronavirus problem. But I can't say the details because, we still have time for developing the solutions. But generally, the focus is health, we can say.
Great. Sounds good. Yeah, I'd love to hear more about, and you're doing some really cool things as well with students getting together to work on their projects. Actually, maybe now you can share a bit more about, we have a week left. So what are some students doing in that last week? Are they kind of getting together to work on these projects, or any kind of virtual hackathons? What are some of the things you're seeing some students do? I know they're very active. I follow everyone on social media, so I love to see what events and things are doing online.
Actually, yeah, they're also, I think, following you. They're kind of following you. They just want to hear from you. And I think it's a good opportunity for them to hear you. And thanks a lot for organizing these things. And actually, there's a cool boot camp for the final countdown for Solution Challenge, and which is organized by students, DSC leads in the region. And we call it Solution Marathon, and it's solely organized by the DSC leads from Turkey. And actually, it aims to bring people together to find solutions as a team, which is also for the Solution Challenge. And they're gonna just address the problems in education, health sector, and social domain in 48 hours, like a typical hackathon, we can say. And they will educate the educational material regarding the Google technologies and mentorships for helping students with the process. Because as we all know that, of course, we can find a solution for that. But sometimes the process might be a bit, you might need some kind of support. And that's why they will be there. And so students who have no prior experience are also encouraged to attend. And if you would like to join this marathon in Turkey, like if you're watching this live session right now, you can also participate in. And it's just at the end of the 2 days, participants will experience the collaboration in the group, and maybe they will learn new Google technologies, and also they can just mentored by some Googlers. And throughout the collaboration with a startup, they will have a chance to realize the solution into a startup, which is a good part of it, because there will be also business mentors. And so, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. It really isn't too late. There's a week left, so people can still get together in groups and work on it, or join the hackathon you shared. Maybe you can in the live chat share a link to that if people want to learn a bit more.
Sure.
That's great. And it's great to hear a bit more about some of the trends you're seeing of projects that students are working on. So thanks for giving us that update in your region. So thanks so much, and stand by. We're gonna definitely check in with you again soon.
Thanks a lot. See you.
You. And next up, we're gonna hop on a plane and fly to Nigeria. I want to bring in my teammate Awal and say hello to him. Hi, Awal. How are you doing?
Yeah. Hi, Rika. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Basically trying to test out some of the issues we have in SSC, and some of the issues students are facing with solutions challenge, which is network connectivity. But I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, I would love for you to introduce yourself, and then I do have a couple questions for you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, my name is Awal MS. I manage the communities for developer student clubs here in SSC, rounding up all these different schools in SSC across 48 countries. And yeah, I've been here for 8 months, and we're doing our best. We're trying our best to maintain our trophy, and yeah.
Yes, that's right. The winner for last year, Samuel, and his team, they're from the SSA, Sub-Saharan Africa region from Uganda. So yes, definitely. The challenge is on, so that's great. And one thing I want to mention is Awal also he was formerly leading a Google developer group community, and also Google student ambassador as well, right, Awal?
Yeah, I was a GDG lead for 5 years, and then I led the Google African Developer Scholarship Program.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. So you've been involved in the communities for quite a while, so that's great. So we'd love to hear from you. Why do you think students should participate in the solution challenge in SSA, and why do you think the solution challenging might be inspiring to some students?
Yeah, so like my colleague Anedi usually say, we do have many problems in Africa, and unlike other regions where possibly you'll be building solutions and hoping for problems to come in where the solution solves, here in SSA we do have a lot of problems where definitely participating in a solution challenge will really be of use for members of our community. But most importantly, why I think members or students should participate in the solution challenge program is because as we both know, getting jobs after school is actually a really hectic exercise, and if you're trying to get a job, most times in the tech industries, you definitely will need to have experience, or probably a proof that you've tried to do what you've done before, or you have done what is expected of you in the new company. So students participating in Solutions Challenge give them the opportunities to have knowledge of building real life solutions to real life problem. So when as a student, when you work on solutions challenge and build all any solution, it gets to be something you can add to your profile, probably to your gigs, probably to your CVs and things like this. So I personally think if I am a student, I wasn't lucky to be a student when DSC started. But if I were a student, definitely one of the things I would have done was to participate in Solution Challenge. At least I will have at least one project or probably two projects if I've participated twice, or one project if I'm participating just once, to add to my profile as yes, this is a solution I built while I was a student, when I was trying to solve a real life problem. So I think if you're a student in SSA, use this opportunity to build something that can be added to your CV, something you can always remember that you built when you were a student.
That's a really good point, and that's part of the vision of the program, is really bridging the gap between theory and practice and helping students become more industry ready as well. And part of that is, putting the skills to use that they've learned through workshops and building a project. And that is something that they can put on their resume and have to show, like, hey, I worked on this, whether it's in a team or just on their own, that they had that work through that process of solving a problem, getting feedback, iterating on it, and finishing a project. So those are definitely things that they can have in their tool belt and on their resume. So that's a really good point. And are there any projects that you've seen that are inspiring, or any cool projects you've started to see, or any types of trends that you're seeing as well in SSA, types of projects students are working on?
Yeah, so for projects in SSA, there are really many interesting projects. From people building IT projects to people building for COVID-19. Recently, I had a chat with one of the DSC leads who was building a project about on COVID-19, where as a citizen you can probably record some of the health issues you're facing, some of the symptoms you think you're facing that have to do with COVID-19. Probably you think you have headache, and you just wanted to log it so that health workers will be able to keep track on. So somebody was building this project where you can keep reporting yourself every single day to probably say, okay, if there's a change in my state, this is what I'm facing at the moment, this is how I feel now, this is how I feel tomorrow, this is how I feel 3 days ago, and then this data gets sent to the health agency in charge of COVID-19 in Nigeria. So beside this, I was opportunity to be in Kano some time ago, and I saw a project that was built by a DSC, one of the DSC leads there, where they were building on how to be able to provide border controls. So like, it's one of the issues we have is where excess amount of money needed to be invested in education are being invested in security for pipelines and things like that, and border control. So a DSC lead was building an IoT project, was working on an IoT project to be able to be deployed to be served as security guards to people. So like, I've seen multiple different ones from people trying to solve on health issues, trying to solve issues on depression, trying to get they're really wonderful projects I've seen in SSA, and I can honestly not say one is a favorite. I can probably list 5 favorites or like 10 favorites, but it's just like we have a lot of projects working here. That's
great. That's great to hear. Yeah, it makes more of those projects. Thank you so much for sharing, and stand by. We're gonna have a chance to ask more questions later after we start looking at the live chat. So thank you so much. Oh, and we're gonna welcome in our next teammate from around the world. We're gonna hop on a plane across the internet, and we're going to Southeast Asia. So Shad, I would love to welcome you to the crew. Hi, Shad.
Hi, Rika. Thanks for having me here. Super excited to actually have this time together with other CMs around the world.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And would love to, if you could introduce us and let us know, what country are you in?
All right. I'm currently in Manila, Philippines. So I'm in my home country. As you know, it's actually 12:25 in the morning right now. So it's completely opposite in your time zone. And I know we have a lot from from SEA are currently on the live stream. So hello to everybody, and of course, happy Ramadan to everybody who are celebrating the start of the Ramadan season. So yeah, that's it.
Great. So thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. And I had a question for you. You know, we say that one of the most important parts of building an effective solution is getting user feedback. Definitely very important. But with everything going on right now, you know, that becomes a bit difficult. And going on, you know, with social distancing measures in place, which are important, how can teams effectively get feedback from users during this time?
Yeah, I think it's really best time right now, especially a lot of the people are basically online, and this is the best time to capture the audience and get user feedback. One, there's actually a lot of ways to get connected. You know, I think social distancing is becoming a global rule right now, but you know, being online is now the best practice to really apply social distancing. And there are several news sites claiming that the data usage of most companies are having increased significantly, about 70 to 80%, through the device screen time and usage. That means there are really a lot of people currently online and using their devices. And I think for everybody who are joining Solutions Challenge, this is the best time to get out of there and then reach out and share some of their ideas. And I think holding back doesn't really benefit them. It would be best to actually just share and really pitch those awesome ideas that they have, those apps that they've developed, and of course, solutions that they're working on. And really getting feedback from people, what's the best approach, or how they can improve, and how can they validate that this idea would really work. Social media groups like Reddit, very popular and really connecting and getting feedback. Or if they're involved in Stack Overflow or Quora, these are also some other ways to really reach out their ideas as well and their questions to a lot of people. And if they love making videos, YouTube is another way. A lot of people are watching YouTube every day. And of course, Instagram Live, or other live stream, if that's something that they're also interested as well. But again, validating and getting user feedback is just in the tip of their mouse or a tap on their devices, and that's it. And they can really connect with as many people as possible right now.
That's great. That's a good point. It doesn't have to be in person to get user feedback. This could be online through all the different channels that you mentioned. They can get that feedback, or could be also video chat to kind of see, how they're interacting. You send over. So that's a good point. And I see in the chat some people want to see the baby filter. Do you have some filters to show us for fun?
Of course. All right, here we go, guys.
Now he's now a baby. So
yeah, it's becoming like a title for me here in SEA, especially the region, especially when we're doing trivia nights and as well as like we're doing our monthly calls. So they I think they also love looking at this baby face right here.
Yeah. Great.
Hi, everybody. Right.
Yeah, I see a lot of those comments. Great. It's good to see lots of student leads and students from SEA. So that's great. Awesome. Well, thank you, Shad. Stand by. We're going to ask some more questions as well. So we'll see you very soon. Great. Thank you so much. So now we're heading to India, and we're going to meet my teammate, Nikhil. He's the community manager there, and would like to welcome Nikhil. Hi, Nikhil.
Hi, Rika. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening as well. I know it's late. What time is it there?
It's like 10 p.m. here.
Okay, yes. Thank you for joining us. It's such a late time. So would love for you to introduce yourself, and then I have a question for you.
Yeah, so hello, everyone. My name is Nikhil. Nikhil, and I am the community manager for the DSC program in India, and I get to meet and talk to some brilliant students across India here. It's fun, yeah.
That's great. And it's been cool to see your journey as well. Were you a Google Student Ambassador back in the day?
Yes, I was a GSA in 2013-14, and so throughout the journey brings me here, and sitting on the other side of the table is like super amazing experience.
That's super cool. And for those who aren't familiar, the Google Student Ambassador was a student program as well, and so yeah, so now we have Nikhil from that, so which is super cool. And yeah, would love to ask a question. If you had to give one piece of advice to students who want to participate or are participating in the Solution Challenge, and despite, with everything going on right now around us, what would that one piece of advice be for those students?
So first thing is that it's been like one amazing year and I also got an opportunity to learn from the Solution Challenge last year. So that was a great opportunity that through which I was able to understand the projects, and the collaboration amongst the team made it super awesome. If I have to share a quick advice, so I would always say, like, focus on your idea, solve one problem at a time. So it shouldn't be like solving multiple problems, like bringing in multiple problems and solving it through one project. Wouldn't be a great idea at this moment of time. So focus on one problem at a time, and it's important. It's very important considering the problem statement, and always arrive at the core of your project, depending on the facts and information that you have. So, and I'm sure you all might have already been on the verge of submitting it. And I'm super excited to see that.
That's great. Yeah. So I think some students have been working on it for quite a while, and we really encourage students to go ahead and just finish it and just kind of put those finishing touches and go ahead and submit the project. So we're really excited to see what you've been building, and even if you're at the earlier stages, it's totally fine. Go ahead and finish those up. You still have a week and a weekend as well. So so really excited to see what you build. Are there any cool projects that you've seen? Are there certain kind of trends or types of problems students are solving?
For sure. I mean, interacting with the leads and also the students here in India, I was able to see a few of the solutions coming in from DSC and IT Roorkela, where they have built a service that connects vendors and its customers in the city of Jaipur, Orissa, where they've been helping out people in need to get essential things delivered to their doorstep. So this is something that came up. And in the meantime, DSC NSEC also has built in something called DSC, the Suraksha COVID-19, which is an interactive web-based application which not only gives information about what's happening across the country, but is also helping out people to look at the hospitals around them, the number of beds that are available. So this is something which is exciting me. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing. And we're excited to see all the other projects that come through. So thank you, Nikhil. So happy that you're here joining us from India. I know it's late, and thanks, but do stand by, and we'd love to chat more. So thank you so much. And I'm going to welcome in our next teammate. Our next teammate is Phoebe. We're traveling to Asia, and here's Phoebe. Hi, Phoebe. We're wearing the same shirt. We matched.
Hi, Erica. Thank you for having me here. And I'm also very happy to see all other TM and students from all over the world together. Yeah. And it's midnight in Taiwan, same time zone as Chad.
Great. Yes, that's right. Yeah, it'd be great. I have a question for you, but first would love for everyone to learn more about you. If you could introduce yourself.
So hi everyone, and my name is Phoebe, and I'm based in Taiwan, and I'm a community manager handling GDG and DSC in Taiwan and Hong Kong.
Great. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us. I know it's late there as well, so we're very grateful that you're here. What time is it there?
It's 12:30 a.m.
Yes, so it's pretty late. Thanks so much. This is truly a global call. We have people across all hours. It's morning, in some places night, so we're getting everyone together. So thanks so much for joining us. And I did have a question for you. And we've been getting a lot of questions about forming teams, collaboration and teamwork. What would you recommend for a solution challenge team that's working remotely right now?
That's a good question. Actually, since the DSC summit at the end of last year, and some of the Taiwan DSC leads from different cities decided to form the team to participate in Solution Challenge. So the advice that I gave them concerning working remotely is, first, stay connected with your teammates through whatever channels you are comfortable with. For example, Telegram, Facebook, or Slack. This enables you to build a good rapport with your team members and keep updated with the latest project developments. And secondly, I would suggest you hold regular short meetings through video calls with your team members in order to make sure everyone is on the same page. I can emphasize with a busy schedule, but it's important to keep the line of communication open between yourself and your fellow team members. So this includes informing your teammates about both current status of your specific task and what your next step will be. Also, never be afraid of asking for help when you face barriers. Remember, reaching out for assistance when necessary is a strength, not a weakness. Yeah. So lastly, I would recommend you to leverage the version control tools like Git to work simultaneously, and when possible, keep documentation. So actually, I understand it's very challenging if it's your first time to work remotely with your teammates, but it's also a very precious opportunity to gain experience. So so carve out a dedicated workspace in order to achieve focus and give yourself enough time to rest in order to prevent burnout. That's all advice for now that I want to share with you.
That's great. Thank you so much. And that is so important. It is a unique opportunity. Everyone is virtual, all of us everywhere. So making sure that people are checking in, if they've kind of divided up the work and tasks, like having that check-in to see, hey, how are you doing? And keep that communication going, but also making sure that they take care of themselves, that they get the proper rest and don't get burnout is also very important too. So really great points. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, Phoebe.
Thank you.
That's great. And I have another question later I'll ask you just about any kind of tips you have for students. But for now, we're going to hop over. We have a couple more teammates from around the world. So we'll bring you back in later, Phoebe. So thank you. Awesome. So now we're going to hop on another plane and we're going to Australia to meet our teammate, Matthew. Matthew, welcome to the group.
Hi, thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
Great to see you. Yeah, first of all, would love for you to introduce yourself.
Definitely. So I am also a community manager. I'm based in Sydney, Australia, and I'm lucky enough to support GDG, so Google Developer Groups, Google Developer Experts, and as of this year, Developer Student Clubs, which is very exciting.
Great. Well, thanks. So I had a question for you. You know, we're in the kind of final stretch. There's a week left to go. And so it's almost here. We're still seeing droves of people signing up and forming teams even right now as we speak. What would be your main tip for them, for teams that are signing up at this point in the contest with 1 week to go?
Definitely. I think as a starting point, one of the most important things is having a strategy, having a plan, knowing who works in your team, knowing your strengths, and being mindful of time. And even at any moment, whether it's 7 days out, whether it's 5 days out, whether it's a few hours before, just being mindful of the time and what is achievable is probably a great starting point to kind of get you out of the gate and momentum behind you. And I think kind of at this point, focusing what is important to your solutions challenge project, kind of what is key, and all the unnecessary code that you kind of might think you need, kind of move past it and focus on what's key. And that comes back to speaking with your team and kind of all understanding where you are currently.
That's a great point. Staying focused is always really important. So that's great. Are there any projects that you've seen that have been pretty cool that you want? Is there a project you want to share?
Yeah, definitely. So I had a look at a few submissions, and one that stood out to me was by a DSC in Pakistan, and I believe it was called Trash Troopers, and it was based around gamifying and kind of incentivizing taking care of your local community kind of through assigning and highlighting tasks that you can do and kind of encouraging people to get out there safely and kind of, take care of your community. And even just looking at a demo, it's based in Flutter, it's on Android, it uses GCP. So it's kind of based in really cool platforms. And I love the social cause. I'm kind of always happy to support or move behind anything that kind of makes our planet a bit better. So that was a standout, but there were amazing submissions, and kind of like everyone said, there are 7 days out. It's never too late. It's about banding together and just making sure you're focused and communicating with your team.
Definitely. That's great. Thank you. And I also love those, any like tech for good and social causes. Those are really inspiring. So thank you. Thanks so much for joining us from Australia. Someone says Australia has the best food. Cool. Awesome. Great. So thank you. And we have one final teammate we're going to welcome to the crew. I'm going to welcome Dani, based in the US. Hi, Dani.
Howdy from Texas, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Great. Thanks so much for joining. Before I ask my question, I'd love to hear more about you and also about your plants. I love the background.
Yeah. So pro tip, if you're working from home in a closed environment, plants not only give you extra purified oxygen, but it reminds you of how great the outdoors is. So it kind of keeps you motivated throughout the day. So I'm really happy to share all of my awesome plants with y'all. A little bit about me. I'm the Developer Student Club community manager in the US. I do support Canada as well, but primary focus is the US. This is like kind of my second venture with Google. Started off with Google Fiber, and I'm really excited to kind of take the next step and join all of y'all here today and share, some tips I have with y'all.
Great, thank you. Yeah, speaking of tips, I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any tips for students to get their projects finished in this last week? And, there's 1 week to go. What do you have some tips for them? And some might be getting started, some might be finishing up.
Yeah, so the first thing I will say is, regardless of where you're at this point, don't give up. Y'all have set the groundwork to, number one, make sure your communities are aware of the challenge and come up with some great ideas. Even though we've had to make a switch to kind of a virtual environment, y'all can still do this. So don't give up, keep pushing, and keep encouraging your teammates to work with you. With that, I do have a couple questions that were asked to me from kind of like my North America team. So I'd be happy to share some tips that I shared with them. One of the questions was, how do I overcome distractions in my community members' lives? This is one you've heard from some other community managers. One of the best things I can tell y'all to do is keep your meetings short, keep them frequent, and be understanding where people are with their daily lives. Even if we're still wanting to meet and make, pushes in our solution challenge, people may have different home dynamics and they might not be able to jump on the same time as you on a call. So utilizing resources like Git, like Google Docs, which can allow for real-time collaboration and tracking, is a huge advantage for y'all. So definitely encourage you to take part in that avenue. It will help everyone plug in when they have the time.
That's a great tip. That's super important. And it's good to really be understanding of other people, where they're at. Everyone is going through different things, and it's hard to know how everyone is feeling. And so I think that's number one, very important, and that we keep health at the forefront of everything and understanding. And those, I like those tips as well. Keeping meetings short and sharp, more frequent, continue to be engaged with those who want to stay engaged. So so these are super important. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, happily.
And are some and are there some other things students are doing in the last kind of kick and the last push of some people getting together and doing their own kind of mini hackathons, or are there some things you've been seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the US, what we've actually seen is DSC leads pull together and support one another, since everyone's kind of going through the same struggle of staying active and getting resources in the same place. So what DSC members did is put together what we've dubbed Hack DSC. So it's actually going to be a 3-day hackathon over this weekend. So it's going to be starting tomorrow afternoon, April 24th, through Sunday, regardless of where you are currently with your solution challenge. You know, we're going to have workshops, mentors, technical assistance along the way to help y'all. So if you have the time this weekend, you know, feel free, join us. Would love to have you. I think there will be some fantastic workshops you could take part in, and encourage your members to join as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's great. Yeah, it's never too late. And even locally, wherever you're based, you can get in groups and kind of do your own virtual hackathons as well, or check out Hack DSC. So awesome. Thank you so much. Great. So these are our teammates all over the world. It's an international team. I'm so happy to see all of their faces here today. And so thank you to all of you. So we can start taking some questions in the last 15 minutes. I have been keeping track of some of the questions along the way. Yeah, so we can start taking questions, and I'll pull in some folks to answer. I did see a question earlier about, you know, what if people are at different levels? Maybe there's a beginner who wants to join a project, and maybe other people are a bit more advanced. What do we do if, you know, is there a space for people of different levels and different backgrounds to join the same team? So we'd love to share that question with anyone who wants to answer it. Maybe Komal, do you want to share a bit more about, you know, what if we have can people who are beginners also join the solution challenge?
Hey, yeah, definitely. And I think the intention behind the solution challenge is, like I said earlier, right? The goal is to help students grow, right? And get hands-on experience. And I think one big component of it is working as a team. You can submit as an individual, but we encourage those of you that have been participating in it, we encourage kind of a team environment, right? Identifying a problem, finding other people that are interested in that, coming together as a team. So I think in that space, right, beginners partnered with someone that has a different skill set, together, everyone grows. So, you know, long story short, I think, yes, it's an inclusive competition. And I think as you go through that journey, you identify that your team can include someone that's maybe a little more advanced and has one skill set, while another is a beginner in one space and has another skill set. So together as a team, you guys can, you know, build a solution.
That's awesome. Great. Definitely. Yeah, it's open. You know, this is really a way to build up skills and be part of a team. So it's really open. So that's what I love about it. And actually, while we have you, we do have a question from Harvey. He's asking, how extensive should a project be? Would a minimum viable project work, or should it be a full-blown app?
I think that's a really great question, right? I think the truth is, from our point of view, we're not expecting students to try to solve problems beyond their local community. And so in regards to how extensive a project should be, those evaluation criteria that are posted on the contest site, that is truly like your guideline, right? The reason we made them so thorough and put them on the contest site is we want you and your team to almost be able to take a step back and kind of walk through top to bottom and see if you can answer those questions. That's the extent to which we expect the project to be, right? So if you look at it, let me, give me 1 second and I will pull it up. You guys should all have visibility to the contest site. But if you follow along with me, right, the kind of stuff that we're looking for is, does it establish a clear challenge faced in the team's local community, right? So that is when we talk about extents, right, the extent to which a solution should be built out, that criteria really sets the guidelines for you to kind of validate, am I within or not? Can I answer, did I achieve this or not? Is there evidence that the solution has been thoroughly tested with real users, right? With everything that's going on with COVID, this may be a challenge, but maybe you set up virtual calls with users or customers or whatever to validate how they interacted with the thing. So if you can show that there's evidence that it was tested with real users, then you're meeting that criteria, right? So my recommendation is to take a look at the criteria, go to the contest site, goo.gle/solution challenge, and scroll down to the evaluation criteria and almost use that as a rubric for yourself, for your solution, right? And kind of spot check it. Hey, does it establish a clear challenge? Is there evidence of user testing? Does the solution that I'm recommending or that I've built actually address the challenge identified, right? Did we make effective and appropriate use of the features of the Google product that we used, right? Did we tap into it to the fullest extent? Maybe you get feedback from someone else and say, hey, I'm using, let's say, Firebase in the solution. Is there a creative way that we could have used it? Did we tap into it? So what you'll see is we've given you kind of the context to work within. What we encourage is using that, but also getting other people to kind of vet your project, right? This is a best practice that I would recommend is connect with your DSC, right? Connect with other teams, connect with your greater community and say, hey, this is what we're working on. Do you have any feedback, right? Help other people kind of vet the process. Maybe if you have a faculty advisor that you've worked with before, having them take a look at your project and provide feedback on it is also a really great best practice. Hope that answers your question.
Great. Thank you so much for answering that. And that answers another question as well about some of the things that they should work on. I think you answered that, like, how do they show that they did make an iteration based on feedback? So I think you answered that as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Komal. Good to see you again. And now we'll bring in someone else, maybe Awal or whoever wants to take this one. Just asking about what Google tech should people think about? What is there any Google tech we would suggest, especially for beginners, or this can be really open to anyone who wants to talk about some Google tech that they think students should be working on. It really depends on and what works best for what they're trying to build. But if anyone wants to talk through that, we're open to anyone who wants to share.
Well, howdy, y'all. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. So for me, one of the things that I love most right now is actually Flutter. I think Flutter is like a fantastic service that y'all can take advantage of. Also Firebase. Firebase has so many different tools to utilize and can be implemented in tons of different ways, regardless of what it is you're trying to kind of make happen. So those are two for me that are top of mind.
That's great. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Cool. Anyone else want to share? From our panel, I know we have
Don't forget Angular. Oops, sorry. Go ahead, Chad.
We have the baby in here.
Sure. I can probably add in as well. Some of the students are actually exploring like Flutter. Flutter has been really helpful in a lot of our app development right now. So if you guys are into app development, go explore Flutter. Flutter is a really great framework for you to start and begin with, and mix it up with Firebase and also and other components that you can also play around with Firebase and Flutter. So yeah, I think those two are really great already. So other than that, if you building web apps, I think the best approach could also go to like App Engine if you are building really big projects on and require some data as well. So that's on Google Cloud Platform, and just push some of your project directly on App Engine. So these are some ideas that you can also explore and find. Other than that, so all right.
That's great. Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing. Anyone else want to share? Cool. Okay, great. So so we can move on to the next to other questions. And I did thank you, Annie Eddy. So Annie Eddy is the regional lead and SSA on the Google team there. He said feedback is a gift. I totally agree with that. It really is. And he was saying basically to get feedback from people, you can ask what people think. If you're at home with your parents, you can ask them, or just ask around, get feedback from anybody. Feedback really is a gift, whether it's might be perceived as positive or negative. Any feedback is good because it helps you make an improvement, and that's, you know, what else can you ask for? So I definitely agree with Annie Eddie. So thanks so much for that. There was a question earlier, or we can just take the other questions here. Oh, there was a question earlier about two things. One, should people continue to work on their projects? From Samuel asked this. Should people continue to work on projects after April 30th? And yes, so I can just start answering that, and anyone else can jump in. It is great to continue to work on your project no matter what, whether you're in the final 10 or not. I think it's great to continue. If this is something you want to continue to build on, we would encourage you to continue to build and improve this and tweak the project going forward. And he did mention us getting in touch with those top 10 folks as well. We will be connecting and just asking more questions and learning more. So yeah, I do think it's good no matter what to continue to work on your projects. Komal, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, just to iterate what you're saying, but also add in, like, the intention behind the solution challenge, right, is growing your skills. And so the contest, it shouldn't be where it ends. It's a platform for that, but the learning needs to continue. And I think if you followed this journey of identifying a problem, right, thinking through a solution, really designing how does it interact with your users, and then plugging in technology for that solution, you're going to come up with something that's really meaningful. And we hope that you're not just doing it for the intention of the contest, right? And that learning continues with your community. One thing that we would love to see is that DSE communities are then coming together after the solution challenge and actually hosting, whether it's virtual events, who knows what happens after COVID, but coming together and maybe doing feedback sessions, right? Maybe after the contest ends, you set up, connect with your local DSE and set up a virtual feedback session where you demo your solution and you get feedback from different people. So there's a lot of creative ways of how you can continue the journey after the contest is done. And, you know, just to iterate what Erica's saying, it's super important to continue to do that. You've invested so much time in it. Don't let it be something that you just started and then let end there.
Definitely. Thank you so much. And I saw a couple questions about from folks when they'll hear back, excuse me, when they'll get an email about their submission. So we did extend the deadline to April 30th. So you will be hearing after that. But yeah, anything else to add, Komal?
I was muted. Sorry about that. No, I think that's, you know, you've said it really well. I'm just really excited for people in the next week or so to, if they can, right, and if this is something that they want to focus on, to continue. But just because the contest ends does not mean that you stop working on it. And that's something that I truly believe. I believe in what we're doing with the solution challenge. I think it's really focused on great things, right? It's focused on students building their skills, but also on local problems being solved with technology. And if you guys are on your campuses learning about the cool kind of technology out there, applying that to address and make the world better, I mean, you don't need a contest for that, right? So.
Exactly. Yeah. That's great. So thank you. I know we have 2 minutes left. Let's see there's any other questions that we can answer. What would you recommend for back end of the web? Does anyone want to answer this? Awal, would you like to answer?
Yes, I think I should be able to answer this. So basically, I don't know what you're trying to build, but like what I saw in the comment section, Firebase should be able to serve you best for this, considering the fact that you have authentication already in database in there, you have cloud functions, you have literally anything you will need to build an MVP, or anything you need for a backend to build an MVP on Firebase. I really believe you should go for Firebase as your best option, because you obviously don't have time to be building everything else from scratch. Plus 1,000 to Firebase on this.
Great, thank you. That's great. So we only have a minute left. So another question real quick. Yes, I think submitting whatever you have, just working as much as you can on it, but I think it's best to just go ahead and submit the version that you have ready. And as Komal mentioned, you can continue to iterate afterwards. We do encourage you to continue to build your skills and work on these projects, but submitting what you have is really a key thing. Before we close, we'll be collecting these questions and we'll ensure to get answers back to you on the contest site. So this is what we want to leave you with. Please do go to the site. We will put those questions up. There's a week left. It's not too late. We heard some tips from people about what you can do. We encourage you to get together with other people. You can join some of these virtual hackathons happening around the world, and really excited to see these projects. We'll then spend some time reviewing them, and you'll hear back from us post April 30th after we've reviewed them. So thank you so much. I really appreciate all my teammates. Maybe we put them all on the screen, like the Brady Brunch, if folks know that show. Maybe it's maybe I'm dating.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. So thank you so much for being a part of this. We have teammates all over the world. We really appreciate that you answered questions. And thanks to all of you for joining the Solution Challenge, being part of Developers Club. I'm super excited to see what you build in the last week. There's our teammates. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good luck for your
everyone.
projects, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Bye.